Hey chicks, let's chat. So listen, today, a lot of times we focus on all the things that were wrong or what's going wrong, the things that bothered us, the things that let us down. Um, and truth be told, for content, people like hearing that type of stuff. I noticed that it's a big, it's when if I title something in a way that seems like it's gonna be like some juicy details, a big letdown, or I'm sure enough gonna be saying some stuff, about, somebody or something. People click in, people tune into that, they love it. I think that as a society, we are in love with sad stories. We are drawn to that, and I say that too because I watch, I look at the numbers on some people videos when they be done said stuff like, oh, my sister slept with my best friend, slept with my baby daddy, all kind of stuff. Listen, boy, them numbers go through the roof. People tap in to hear the negative. But the funny thing is that because people, once you realize that, then now you got people who start making up stories. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that if they come up with a wild and crazy story, people gonna tap in. I mean, and when you look at it historically, like, yeah, they do. That's why shows like Jerry Springer and all the crazy stuff, people tap into the wild, to the crazy, to the messy, to the sad. They love it. You know what I'm saying? They love it. But my thing is, why you here on this earth? I know you want to do more than experience sad. I know you want to do more than be messy. I know you want to tap into more than the negatives in life, So today I'm just like, kind of like a cross between the two, cause I want views too. But my platform is definitely not ever trying to be centered around negativity. You know what I'm saying? Because I just think that when you tap into faith and the blessings of God, like, life don't have to be negative. Like, yeah, you're going to go through some things, and hopefully you get your lessons and, you're able to share those. So that's my point and perspective, that I'm able to share the things that, I have been through, or I have seen other people go through, and draw the lessons out of those things and bring them to light. That's my purpose. So like I say, today is like a mixture of the good and bad, but with more emphasis, hopefully, on the good. So when your relationship, when you actually get in one, and it happens to be good, if you have had the experience, because I don't think everybody has really had that experience. I think it's people who probably married and have not had that experience, or maybe they have not had that experience in a while. When you really can tap in to a situation and realize that, hey, I like this. I'm being treated in a way that I feel like works for me. What I feel like I deserve, what I imagine when I imagine, who I'm going to be with, or somebody that I'm going to fall in love with. Like, it's a different kind of feeling when you really experience that, right? When you really experience that. And a lot of times that experience is only present before the hurt and hardship. And sometimes it could be a while where you just experiencing basically like a euphoria. And you're in awe, and that's what basically makes you fall in love. Like, you start feeling like you love them. But you're on such a high with them that you're in love with them, And then if that lasts long enough, then you feel like, hey, I actually have some real feelings for this person. Like, I love them. Um, and if you had that experience, like, it's beautiful. Like, I like to say that, like, I'm in love with love because, yeah, I don't know too many better feelings, you know, than when you really have a person that, yeah, I like them, you know, and it actually lasts for a while. Not like you meet them, you think everything is great, go in a couple days so you get to know them a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, no, no, not that kind. Like, yeah, you know, and the things that matter to you the most, they come to the table with. See, that's something different too, because a lot of times you can meet people and on paper they great. If anybody read the resume, if anybody see them, wow, he's everything that a woman would want. But then you could go out on a date with him, or you could spend some time with him and have a couple conversations, and you like, he alright, like, yeah, he's straight, but he don't do it for me. You know, the conversations that we have, it just does not, nothing tickles my fancy about it. You know, like, yeah, I can see why the girl's crazy about him, you know, or why women want him, why he's at the top of their wish list. But for me, he don't do it, you know. And sometimes that can be disappointing because, you know, sometimes you really are hoping that that person checks all the boxes, you know. And sometimes they don't. That's why I just say, you know, when you actually meet a person and they really do it for you, like, that's different. That's almost, to me, that's so hard to do that it almost really it's a divine thing to me. Because out of all the people you meet and run across and interact with in life, you don't get those feelings too many times where you like, yes, he do it. Like, he checked them boxes, you know? So depending on how many people you have interacted with, how many people you have dated, or, you know, the number is going to be smaller if you've only, you know, had the privilege of being around certain people. If you come from a small town, you've been in that small town all your life, you know, the chances of you meeting somebody that you crazy about more than one time is slim, very slim. Meeting that person that checks all your boxes one time is going to be like hard to do. But you just may luck up and hey, that happens for you. But when you've been exposed to more people, more places, basically the opportunity for you to meet more people, you've had that, then I think that's when you can maybe say, hey, I ran across a person or two, a time or two that they check the boxes. If you haven't had that experience, like if you're a woman and you listening and you just like, I've never met a guy that really just makes me feel like I could do forever with him, you know, that really did something for me as a woman, made me want to be a better person, made me want to be good to them. If you haven't met that person, then I would hope and pray that you do meet that person, you know, because it's a beautiful feeling. It is a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful experience, I would say, especially if you get to interact and be with that person over a period of time, right? And this is what makes this person different from any other person that you may interact with. Because this situation is such that even if it doesn't work out, you still maintain the level of love and respect that you had for that person, right? Of course, you may not be in love with them anymore. Life has went on for you, for them. But when you think about them, it doesn't, nothing diminishes. You still remember and you still know that, hey, I loved him. I was in love with him. That was a real thing that happened for us. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when situations end and our feelings, start, coming back to normal, we look at those situations and we be like, man, I ain't like him like that. No, I don't know what I had going on. Like, what? How was I crazy about him? A lot of times you start doing that when you're no longer under that influence, and especially when you ain't intimate with them no more, you look at them different. And then you start looking at yourself like, what in the what? You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I was tripping, But when you have had that interaction with that person, and it's really been that person, when you look back at y'all times, you still know. You remember how you felt in those moments. It don't matter how many years it's been. That's why sometimes, like, if y'all have seen where high school sweethearts or people who got lost and 30 years later they meet up again and boom, they do their big one. Because it's just something about certain people that when you and them link, it's hard to duplicate that ever again in life. And you can find yourself always looking, wishing, wanting for that again. And sometimes you're always going to be looking for that in another person. You are always hoping that you run across those qualities, those characteristics, those emotions. Because number one, you know how good it felt. You know how good it felt when that person was in your presence. You knew how good it felt to love them. You knew how good it felt to be loved by them. Right? So if that person doesn't end up being your forever person, it's hard not to want to find a person that is at least close, gives you those feelings of what you experienced with that other person. At least get close to it. Because in your mind, like, that's top tier. So you want to try to get back to that. Some people never get back to it. And to me, that is ultimately settling. When you have to settle when you have to be with a person, or you end up being with a person that they don't even come nowhere close to that other situation that you have experienced, right? And that's not to compare people, but it's comparing experiences per se, and comparing how you felt. If you're trying to, if you know that, hey, these characteristics in this person make me feel like this, and I want to be there. And you end up with a person who they don't even get you halfway there, you settle. Now, coming off the cuff, and you have never had that experience before, right? You have never had a person that sure enough, you had some people that you like, and you had some people that maybe you fell in love with for a little bit, but you never had that, like, ultimate, like, if I don't talk to nobody else in life, I'm good. It like, I could do forever with this person, right? If you have never really experienced that and held it, I mean, like, you can have a good night with a man and be like, oh, yes, baby, I can do this forever, right? I ain't talking about that, because you probably done ran across some good nights with somebody and you like, yes, I love this. We can, as much as we can do this, let's keep doing this. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about something that has substance. So when you have ran across that and held it for a while, like you and this person, y'all was in each other's life for some years, and it's hard to duplicate that. And you get to the point of where Like I say, you get to the point where I talk for me, where if it's not that, you don't want it. If it's not that, you don't want it. And that's why sometimes you have to tune out people. You have to tune out your friends, tune out your family, tune out people who may be in your ear with all these kind of suggestions. Because if you know you have experienced a certain standard and really you don't want anything but that, then either you gonna trust God and hold out and wait until you are able to, have another experience like that, or you end up just loving on yourself a whole lot and figuring it out, because you know that you don't want to settle for anything less than a person who's that person for you. And a lot of times we will spend our life just filling in the space, basically. Just having company is what I call it. Not necessarily physical company, but yeah, it includes that. But they just company in your life. They just something to do. You know what I'm saying? They just something to do. And they may not really hold any real weight in your life. They just fill the voids for the meantime and in between time. Because the reality is that they're nice in some ways. Yes, it's wonderful. But it doesn't move you enough to say, hey, that's my forever person. Why? Because you already know what it is that you're trying to get back to, basically. You've already had the experience where you're like, yeah, okay, he's good, he's straight, but and I was telling my friend, him, I said, these days I'm more focused on character and conversations. And you know why? Because at some point, if that becomes your forever person and y'all, live a long life, what else is going to matter besides their character and your conversations? Because at some point, y'all ain't even going to be having sex. Chances are more likely that you won't be having sex. And if you do, it won't be the same kind of sex that you having now. So you will likely be more influenced and more moved by their character at a certain point and their conversations. Now, in the event that they have, get Alzheimer's or, dementia, stuff like that, maybe they can't have the same level of conversations with you. But in those peak times when they come back, y'all might can have a certain level of a conversation that, you like. But if you dealing with somebody that you never could have a good conversation with, all you could do is make good love, have good sex, freaky, kinky. I mean, you name it, y'all can do it. And that's all y'all can do together. Even if you do get with that person and spend a lifetime, at the point where something happens where he has erectile dysfunction, or you have a situation going on in your uterus or in your cervix where you can no longer be sexually active like that, what do y'all have? Because you never had good conversations. You or him didn't come to the table with no particular, high level of character. You didn't really stand on nothing worth anything. So what do y'all have in each other now? Maybe you got some kids, maybe you got some grandkids. So that's going to have to be the highlight. Because other than that, now y'all just roommates. And you could think about the stuff y'all used to do. And you might not even be roommates, because you may sleep in one room, he may sleep in another. Y'all in the same household. But actually growing old together and loving it and being happy in that, it's not that. Y'all just existing. Who wants that? Not me. Some people that will be good enough for. That, no. No. That would never work for me. I just couldn't settle for that, I would do myself an injustice if I settle for that. So I could never. So see, that's why sometimes, you know, you may be dealing with a person and people be like, well, y'all ain't together or this or that. How long y'all been messing? Listen, if I ain't complaining, why are you complaining as the person on the outside looking in? Because you don't know what I have experienced or what it is that I'm looking for or why I'm not pushing, hey, let's do that. And a lot of times, like I say, you just enjoying the moments with people. Y'all just having company. It's just cool. So there's no need to push the envelope and to try to make it be something that is not designed to be. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a lesson that I knew from long ago, but then I had a certain experience and then I kind of like went to the left and started listening to people in my ear. Why this and why that? You know, and it's like, yeah, no, I had it right the first time. You know what I'm saying? I knew why I was okay with this and why I wasn't okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So when you really have that one experience or twice, you know, because like I said, I done met at least 3 people that I would have spent forever with. You know what I'm saying? At least 3 that I felt like it could have been, like if it had went that way, that would have worked for me. I'm being generous with 3, it probably was 2. And to be honest, it's solely based on that when I was with those people, I didn't have to wrestle with their egos. Now that's my thing, because every woman had their own little different things that when they with a man, that it does it for them. My thing is the ego. When a dude is ego tripping, I do not like that. That don't work for me. Like, I like you to be humble. I like you to be humble so I can be humble. Because if you start poking your chest out, I'm going to poke mine out first. That's the Aries in me. That's the competitive nature. That's if you can do it, I can do it better. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like that. I don't like to have to do that in a relationship. You know, but a lot of times you meet guys, and especially if you a popular girl and then the dude that you're dealing with, he's a popular guy, like y'all egos gonna clash. You know what I'm saying? If he's been somebody who could have his pick of the litter, you been somebody who had your pick of the litter, y'all egos gonna clash. So for me, it's like when I meet guys that they humble, I love that. I love that. I love it. Like it's some about them, like I could just click with you, you know. But I don't meet a lot of humble guys. I don't meet a lot of humble guys that I'm attracted to, that I like your vibe, like, I just don't. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's gonna have to be a divine intervention to settle and lock me in, you know. But when those situations that are good, when they don't necessarily lead to your forever, the unique thing about them is, like I said before, is that you still look back on those situations with respect and with love. Like that never changes. And to me, that's how you can kind of gauge, you know, really how much you cared about a person. You know, if 20 years has went by and you could say, oh yeah, I was crazy about them. When I was crazy about them. And I know that. And I don't regret it. And it was right. It was the right thing to do. I was absolutely right in investing my feelings and spending my time in that way. When you can look back at that and say that, like, okay, that's something, it was something special about that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's other situations I look back and I'm like, yeah, I should have never liked them like that. Like ever. Like, no, you was only supposed to be for this. You know what I'm saying? Now, I was generous enough to let you into that, but you only supposed to stay right there, boy. You loved up. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I just think that, like I said, because we sometimes put so much emphasis on the terrible, oh, he took me up through there, oh, he got a baby on me, oh, he left me, oh, he did this, oh, he did that. Surely every situation in your life can't be like that, you know. And that's not to say that you didn't have some issues with the person. Maybe that's why y'all ain't together. But what I'm saying is, don't always let the bad stuff trump the good stuff. You know, because life gonna happen to everybody. But don't forget about the happy times, the good times, the people that came in your life and actually made a difference. Even if they're no longer there, some of them died, some of them moved away, some of them you lost contact with. You know, it's good people that I ran across in life that I'm like, you know what? I wish I would have kept in contact with them. You know, and it ain't just males, it's, you know, females that I'm like, she was a good sister. Like I should have, you know what I'm saying? Like her character was such that I wish I would have put more emphasis on maintaining that relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to encourage y'all to, like, you know, don't be so don't beat yourself up so bad about the bad things, right? And about the endings of some stuff. Some stuff had to end, right? And it ain't necessarily that, you know, y'all was just wrong for each other or whatever, but sometimes that's just not the path that God had for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that path. So you have to make peace with that. And in making peace with that, sometimes you have to just make peace with the whole thing. Yes, I love this person and I wish me and this person would have worked out, but we didn't. But it's okay because the experience that I had with that person, I'll forever have that. You know what I'm saying? Like that goes with me. That stays with me. In fact, it helps set some standards. Right? I don't have to cry about that my whole life because this didn't, you know, work out the way that I wanted it to. No, I don't think that that's how we should be taking our life experiences. Just because it didn't work, it was a flop, it was a failure, no, it wasn't. Not all of them. Now some stuff, yes. But everything, no. That's just like you could be on the job for 20, 30 years because you end up retiring or changing professions on your 25th year. Does that make all the other years that you did that profession and that you love that profession, does it mean you should have never been doing that? No. Can you walk and chew bubblegum? I hope. You should be able to. Two things can exist at the same time. Yes, this relationship ended, but yes, this relationship was wonderful. Right? And you know, I think sometimes that's where we a lot of times women, we could go into depression, you know, and just start feeling all kind of ways about ourselves or about the situation that we may be in. But it's your perspective. It's how you looking at those situations. If you looking at everything that happened in your life as all bad and oh, he was a cheater and oh, he was a cheater and oh, he did. Okay, but even with those cheaters, you had some wonderful situations even with those cheaters. If you look back at it, even though he might have been a cheater, look how good he was to you. The cheating ain't necessarily had anything to do with what you and his relationship was like. The cheating was on him. And now that's not to say that a woman never can, you know, create an environment where that man steps out on her. That's not to say that. But when you know, hey, I'm giving this man what he want, when he want, we in love, I don't know any different, our situation is good. And then you find out, okay, well, he is or had been dealing with another woman. Okay, well, that was on him. That wasn't on y'all. Y'all thing was good. He had his own issues why he felt like he needed multiple women or why he was maybe still entertaining this girl doing y'all relationship or whatever. That's on him. That ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn to bask in what was good, what did work. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know you brought your A game to that table and you was all in, and if it just went left, don't get caught up on the negatives of that. Don't get caught up on the negatives. If it didn't work, it didn't work. Y'all had some good times, some wonderful times. Y'all was in love, made love, or maybe you just loved each other, whatever it was. Just pull out the good from that. Pull out the good. Don't get so caught up and hung up on the bad, because the bad will take you into deep, dark places. And some women never recover from that. You never recover from that. And here's the thing. Now, if you had a relationship or a marriage or something, and you had beautiful kids that came up out of that situation, he may not have been a good husband, but you got some beautiful kids up out of this arrangement. Now y'all have went on with y'all life. Why would you allow that situation to make you depressed and take you down into a deep hole for the rest of your life? Because something good did come out of this situation. Some good things did come out of this situation. But if you only focus on the bad, the fact that, oh, he went on to be with another woman and he got another family over there. If you only focus on that, then yeah, you're going to be depressed. Yeah, you're going to be sad, need medication, and everything else. But it's your mindset. It's what you decided to focus on. Because you could have said, you know what, God? It's women out here who don't have no kids. This relationship, it might didn't work, but this man done blessed me with 2 kids. I'm going to raise them and do my big one on them. You know what I'm saying? It's what you focus on. It's how you allow your mind to go. Because you can always think about some stuff that didn't go right. And if you choose to stay right there where things didn't go right, then baby, look here. A deep pit will await you. Because I feel like when you that type of person that all you think about is the negative and you let that easily consume you, more negatives coming. Because the devil already know, like, I could work her with that. I could work her with that. When something negative goes wrong, when something goes wrong in her life, when it didn't work out, I could work her with that. Because I know she gonna dwell on that. I know that's her thing. She like to sit and wallow in her pity. And I'm going to take her up through there with it. I'm going to make her not want to go to work with it. I'm going to make her be mean and nasty to her kids with it. I'm going to make her talk to her supervisor any kind of way and end up firing her. I'm going to make her keep calling out of work. I'm going to make her just be a nasty person to hang around. I'm going to make her not never want to go to brunch, go to lunch, go to dinner, go visit none of her friends. So then she becomes a hermit. Now she home getting big, not taking care of herself, losing weight, hair falling out. She's stressed, depressed. I'm going to take her up through there. Every time something happens, No. Got to be smarter than that, baby. Got to be smarter than the 5th grader. Life is going to happen. It ain't going to always be all good and wonderful and peaches and rainbows and unicorns and clouds and puffs. It's not going to be that. But surely God throws you some things your way that you like, yeah, you did your big one with that one, God. In those moments, we be so happy, and then as soon as something negative comes, we forget all the good, wonderful things that done happen. Like, no, don't be so easily swayed like that. Sometimes I just, listen, I ain't lying. Because I had to train my mind to remember this thing better than the bad stuff. You got so much good stuff that you would be a fool to only think about the negatives. Sometimes even now, when I'm pulling in where I live at, I just smile. Understand me? I just smile because I remember when I was staying somewhere and I was like, every time I come around here, they got garbage in the road. The garbage done fell out their car on their way taking the garbage to, the dumpster or whatever, and they just leave it in the road. Like, I remember times going home to my house that I own, feeling like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Totally missing the blessing that I had a house. You feel me? So now when I'm in a different spot, still have my house. And now I have the privilege of living where I want to live on top of still having my house. So when I come, I'm like, sometimes I just smile. And the thing is, you know what, sometimes we get used to stuff. We could get used to stuff being good too, where we stop appreciating that. And that's what I had to train my mind to too. Like, no. Remember that it was a time when you wanted this. Now you have this. Understand me? It was a time when I used to think about, you know what, one day I might do a podcast or something. It was a time when I used to think about it. Now I have to say, well, you know what? You may not have as many subscribers as somebody else, but baby, you started from zero, none. Nobody went on your subscriber list. Nobody went in the comments for you to go back and forth with. So now when people comment, I love that. Thank you. I love the interaction. I love it. You hear me? And so I could easily say, oh, well, you know, YouTube ain't playing my videos, the algorithm messed up, and it is. But instead, I could just say, well, I ain't even gonna make nothing. They ain't showing it to nobody. I could, but why? I don't care if you show it to the 200 or 300, and that's it. If they enjoy the content, if they got something positive out of it, appreciate it. That's it. Thank you. So y'all, enjoy your day, and remember to, you know, these relationships, hey, they weren't all bad. Remember that.